If you love America, you're going to like this video. Hi there, I'm Roger Johnson. This is another Roger Johnson's America episode. Thanks for joining me as I celebrate America one adventure at a time. On this specific adventure, I don't just celebrate America. I celebrated America's semi-quincentennial. Yep, that's right. Its 250th birthday, July 4th, 2026, on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. at the Great American State Fair. Stay tuned till the very end and you're going to hear about the most spectacular, amazing, unbelievable fireworks display I have ever seen in my entire life. I love to travel, and I love America. From the Purple Mountains' majesty and across the fruited plain, from sea to shining sea. I want you to join me as I celebrate America one adventure at a time. This is Roger Johnson's America. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And in support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of a divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. The unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America in Congress, July 4th, 1776. The Declaration of Independence, of course, is the reason we celebrate the 4th of July every year, Independence Day. This year was special, of course. It was our 250th birthday, our semi-quincentennial. So since it was such a special 4th of July special holiday weekend, I headed to Washington, D.C. for the Great American State Fair. Now, if you want to see the Declaration of Independence in person, it's also in Washington, D.C., right near the National Mall at the National Archives Museum. You can go on in there any day of the week. I think they're open 7 days a week. Check their website for hours and times. And anyway, you can go in there. You can see not only the Declaration of Independence, as well as the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and dozens and dozens and dozens of other incredible documents from American history that formed America, that shaped America, and made us the amazing, wonderful country that we are today. This was my second visit to the National Archives Museum. I got to see these historic documents before. It's well worth the time. If you're in Washington, D.C., you're checking out all the museums. So many museums. Not to be missed is the National Archives Museum, where you can check out the original Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and the rest. Anyway, as long as I was there celebrating America's birthday, I thought I should check out America's birth certificate as well. What exactly was the Great American State Fair? Well, shortly after President Trump was inaugurated for his second term, he created Freedom 250 to plan events to help celebrate America's 250th birthday, including the Great American State Fair. And the idea of having a national fair like this, I think, is a pretty cool idea. Of course, in your head, you think, what is a state fair and what's involved? This had all of the elements that you think of when you think of a state fair, just not as big. Now, of course, I'm from Minnesota originally, and Minnesota hosts one of the largest state fairs in the country, second only to Texas. And the only reason Texas is bigger, it goes twice as long. So anyway, they're kind of in competition. I've been to Texas as well, Florida, Alaska, Massachusetts, a number of different state fairs around the country, so I have a pretty good handle on what makes a great state fair. And I think this does earn the title of great, despite the criticism that's out there. The Great American State Fair, held on the National Mall, had everything that any other state fair has. There were pavilions, tents showcasing all 50 states, the U.S. territories, and the District of Columbia, as well as various businesses and government agencies, not unlike what you would find at any state fair or World's Fair. There were rides, food, animals, entertainment, and special guests. The fair ran between June 25th, which was my birthday, through the 4th of July, America's birthday, through to July 10th. before it all got started, before the fair officially kicked off, the night before, June 24th, they had a rally featuring President Trump. There was music.
Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, because our flag still stands for freedom.
Various speakers, politicians, you know how that is. I did this, I did that, we're doing that anyway. It's always kind of cool to see the President of the United States in person. I've managed to see several different presidents driving by in a limo, at a campaign rally, and an inauguration. So one more opportunity to see a president in person. And President Trump, love him or hate him, he is a big personality, and big personalities, it's either one or the other. People love him or they hate him.
Well, thank you, Lee, and hello, Washington, and a very big hello to America. Thank you. In 10 days from now, our country will celebrate one of the most monumental milestones in human history. We will mark 250 years of glorious American freedom. In 1776, our founding fathers met in Philadelphia and changed the world forever and ever with a thing called the Declaration of Independence.
So the morning of the 25th, the day that the fair kicked off, I actually got to go in before all of the other folks. I got a special badge. There is a group called the 50 States Club, the All 50 States Club. They managed to get a booth at the fair, sharing some space with Massachusetts. And I know a guy who's also in the club. I'm in the club, he's in the club, and he had posted something on Facebook about, hey, I'm going to be there, and I was going to be going because it was going to be my birthday. I wanted to celebrate America, I wanted to do a video about it, all of that. So I said, hey, I'm going to be there too. And so then the founder of the club, the head of the club, contacted me and said, hey, if you're going to be there, you want to help out? So I helped out at the All 50 States Club booth for a little bit on the first day and a couple of the other days that I was there as well. Not a ton, but it was fun to be in there and talk to all the folks coming in and explain what it was all about. A group of people whose quest it is to visit all 50 states, and folks like myself who have visited all 50 states. Really cool, really fun. So I got to do that, as well as explore the fair on my own and check out all of the different states and territories and everything that it had to offer. You could tell which states, which territories put more effort in. Some, they were pretty empty, not a lot there. Others made a real effort. Florida was one. Arizona was another one. Big lines out the door. And of course, you've heard probably, if you're watching this video, you're probably maybe aware, not every state sent representatives and set something up at the Great American State Fair for whatever reasons. In addition to the various state and territory booths that were there, there was also a number of other booths, including the National Endowment for the Arts. They put together this cool little passport deal with a page for every state that was there at the fair. And when you went into each of the booths, they had a little rubber stamp, and you could stamp your passport and make your way through all of the different states and territories in the District of Columbia. Very popular, as far as I could tell. People love these. They were going through, and for the states that were not officially represented, they at least had a stamp there. And folks would come in. This was the cool thing. Folks would come in and man the booths. Just to stamp people's passport and talk about their home state and things like that. So I mentioned I was helping out at the All 50 States Club booth that was sharing a space with Massachusetts. Massachusetts didn't need the whole space because they weren't officially represented. Stepping up to the plate, a woman from Massachusetts said, hey, I'll go represent Massachusetts. And she got other people involved. People were donating stuff. And that was really cool. That was a fantastic success story. She was getting a lot of media attention, which she should have. Another thing that you think of when you think of fairs, state fairs, is food. Yeah, they could have had more food options, more food from around the country, regional delicacies and things like that. But, given what it wasn't too bad. It was fair food. They didn't have mini donuts, though. That would have been good. Anyway, the one day I went into the one big tent where they had food, and then they also had, there's the little snack stands that are on the National Mall all the time anyway. They were still operating, so I went over there on a couple of the different days. I got a corn dog the one day, and then when I was there on the 4th of July, what could be more American than a hot dog? And then I had a lemonade with that. Pretty good. I think there could have been more seating, too. That's another minor critique that I have. Right next to the snack stand that's regularly on the mall, that's there all the time, was a carousel. That's always there as well. So there was that carnival ride that if you had younger kids, they could enjoy that. But then the big attraction when it comes to ride, there was only two, but the big attraction was the Ferris wheel. Fantastic views from the top of that thing. I would say it was the third best view in all of Washington, D.C., first being the U.S. Capitol. If you ever get a chance to go to the Capitol Dome, to the top, they offer tours. You can go inside. Anyway, that I would say is the best view. Then the Washington Monument, and then the Ferris wheel here is probably number 3. But from the Ferris wheel, you can see how big of an area it is and how spread out it is. All of those tents housing all of the different states, they only put those on the walkways. There's a lot of grass in between, but they didn't put anything on the grass except for there was the rodeo area and there was bleachers set up, and those bleachers I think were on the grass. But other than that, they only put those buildings and structures and tents and things on the walkways, which really limited how much space they had for putting things up. And it left a lot of open green space, so when you look at it, it looked more empty than it was. Speaking of the rodeo, President Trump on his opening night before kickoff speech talked about the rodeo.
And even an old-fashioned rodeo. I love rodeo. I don't know how they do it.
It was pretty good. When you looked at the arena they had, it was not a full-sized arena. And it's like, okay, this is kind of small and okay. But I think to its advantage, it was more intimate. You got to be closer to the action than what you might otherwise be at another rodeo event. And it wasn't a rodeo as far as a competition as much as it was showcasing what a rodeo is and what the history of rodeos in the American cowboy was. It was really fun to watch. And because the arena was a little bit smaller, there were some events that they couldn't actually demonstrate with horses and with folks riding those horses and whatnot. But they made it work. I thought that for me, getting to watch that rodeo was really a highlight for me of the Great American State Fair. I didn't stay super late on any of the days that I was there, so I think there was probably bigger crowds for entertainment in the evening. But throughout the day, they had 2 big stages, one on each end, and some smaller stages in the middle. And just continually throughout the day, there would be various groups in addition to music and other entertainment. They also had special guests. I got to see the panel discussion with the Artemis II astronauts. These are the 4 astronauts that just headed out and made a trip around the moon. They got back, I don't know, a couple months ago. Anyway, that was very cool seeing them in person. They're very engaging, very well spoken, fun to watch and listen to. It was even better in person.
That was very important to her. But she is the engineer of this crew, and she is the technical depth that will drill down to every level and keep her 3 pilots centered, focused, and pursuing excellence.
The FIFA World Cup soccer tournament, football tournament, is currently being held. Because that is such a huge event, and because the United States is a co-host of the event this year, they had the FIFA fan zone, and there was a spot where you could watch. They had a huge jumbotron, and people could hang out and watch the various matches that were going on and root for their own team, favorite team, whatever it was. Did I mention the flyovers? President Trump did when he launched the fair.
There will be no military flyovers. And I want to tell you something, because they're going to be beyond flyovers. There'll be something like you've never seen. You get just a little
He said, "Yeah, we're not going to have flyovers. It's going to be beyond that." And it's like, yeah, sure, yeah. No, I think he was spot on. The first day that I was there, I'm in one of the tents and you hear a jet go by. By the time you hear it, it's already gone. On the 3rd and the 4th of July, it was kind of all day, just jets, fighter jets, tanker jets, bombers, Air Force One. I'd hear it and I'd look up and I missed it twice or just caught a glimpse of it, so I didn't get any footage of it. But that was pretty impressive and pretty spectacular. Again, especially the 3rd and 4th of July, it was pretty much nonstop of kind of like a mini air show going on throughout the entire day, and that was very, very cool. As I mentioned, I did get to go on the 4th of July. Really special to be there on that specific day, being America's Independence Day, its semi-quincentennial, 250th birthday, etc. And I wanted to dress right for the occasion. I was also launching my new YouTube channel, this YouTube channel that you're watching this on the 4th of July. So I decided to dress up as, you guessed it, Uncle Sam. Instagram. And starting today, July 4th, 2026, America's semi-quincentennial. That is fun to say. Go over to YouTube and check out the channel. Subscribe to the channel. There's the hat there. I was full-blown Uncle Sam. Spent a good chunk of the day at the 50 States Club, but also walked around a little bit. Met some very cool people along the way. Well, throughout the fair I did, but in particular on that day, got some photos with some folks. Of course, it's summertime. It's July in Washington, D.C. It gets a little warm. Well, it was getting a lot warm. It was in the high 90s, into the low hundreds, 101, whatnot. It was very, very hot. And so when you get that much energy in the air, when it's that warm out, you're bound to get a thunderstorm at some point or another. That's exactly what happened. 4th of July, later on in the afternoon, there were thunderstorms in the area. And because it was a big outdoor event, they had everybody leave. They shut everything down, sent them out the door. Later on, it reopened, and people were able to come back in. I chose not to come back. I had seen the fair. I got to see everything that I wanted to see and experience. I was there for the fireworks, so I went back to Plan A, Arlington. Originally, my plan was to watch the fireworks from near Arlington Cemetery, between Arlington Cemetery and the Marine Corps Memorial. There's a beautiful spot to watch from, and so I headed up there. It was crowded, but I was able to find a really good spot. And, I mentioned the president talking about the flyovers, and he talked about the rodeo, and he talked about the fireworks.
As we ring in our 250th year with the largest fireworks display in world history, 10 times.
Yeah, so how accurate was this going to be? It was delayed because of the weather, and you're sitting there in the wet grass, and there's a little bit of rain coming down. I didn't have an umbrella. Other folks did. They're standing in front of me. It's like, oh boy, I hope they take those down before the fireworks start. But it wasn't bad. Waited till about midnight, just before midnight, right at midnight is when the show started. Here's how I would describe this fireworks display. When you watch any fireworks displays, any really good fireworks displays, and the very end will be the big finale. That's when they shoot off a bunch. That's how this one started, plus a little bit. And then it was pretty sustained like that for about 45 minutes. There were little lulls in there, but then these huge just went on and on and on, enough that you're looking at your watch. Is it over yet? Holy cow, I will never be able to watch another fireworks display ever again in my life. What a way to wrap up the 4th of July 2026 America Semi-Quincentennial. And with that, I'm going to wrap up this video. video wrap up this adventure. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share it on the social medias. More fantastic content to come in the weeks and months and who knows, maybe even years ahead here at Roger Johnson's America. Thanks again for joining me as I celebrate America one adventure at a time.